Hello everyone, Blue Star Saber here once again to review another One Piece chapter review, chapter 1048. I keep saying I've been meaning to catch up with this, and I am still a few chapters behind, but I'm hoping to try and get this all done. We're here in the UK where the Queen's Jubilee is each day, and hopefully finally get caught up with the manga. I also need to get caught up with My Hero Academia, but that's another story. But anyway. One Piece chapter 1048, 20 years. This is the title of this chapter, but before we begin, we'll just cover the Gemma 66 An Emotionless Excursion Volume 10. I think Gemma's come to Chocolate Town, in which we have like Brûlé informing her brother, Charlotte Cracker, if I recall. Yep, let's see, the one who Luffy defeated in the forest, who has not been appeared since his defeat, so it's nice to see him again. As we can see, he's been wrapped up with bandages and all that stuff. And as we see Brûlé telling him that she thinks that the elder Whitsey Fizimoki siblings have come to rescue the younger ones, with Cracker seemingly thinking about his top being knocked off or something, but it's clearly she's warning him to go find like the German siblings and all that stuff, while let's see, reporting that and all that stuff. So yeah, it's nice to see, and it looks like Cracker will be a sort of antagonist, would be one of the obstacles that the German siblings would take down. Be interesting to see if they will actually be able to defeat him. After all, it took both Luffy and Nami's combined efforts at the time to defeat him. Though granted, Luffy is much more stronger now and probably could take out Cracker quite easily. Anyway. Let's see, Momonosuke is following up with what Luffy is asking him to do. Let's see what that he can't do what Luffy says about moving Onigashima out of the way, as Luffy's giant fist the size of the island is about to lay his hand on Kaido. Momo, before he can continue his doubts, thinks back to his family, saying how he must reach and rebuild the Kozuki clan. So Momonosuke charges headbutt into the island, ready to try and move it and all that stuff. Meanwhile, Luffy and Kaido about to continue attack, with Kaido accepting that he will take Luffy's punch, and then comments about how 20 years ago, how the hero of Wano burned to death, as he enters a flame dragon torch mode, and says, ever since then, this place has been lawless. Let's see, and I'll comment, are you really now the hero that they've been waiting for 20 years? And from what we can tell, when Luffy tries to grab Whitsey, from when Luffy grabbed Kaido, his hand burns. It's so hot that he can't hold on. Let's see. Lockhart says it doesn't really matter, as he's not going anywhere, as he's about to attack Luffy with the full force of his dragon flame mode, if you will. Commenting how that fist will not count down on him and all that stuff. And the flame is so big that it's melting the remaining horn of Onigashima and all that stuff. And that's how hot Kaido's become. In many ways, you could say he's probably as hot as the boiling water that burned Odin, if you will. But anyway, no, that's just my guess there. But Luffy comments he's not melting, as he's using his Gum Gum Bajingan, while Kaido's using his Rising Dragon Flame Bagura, though Luffy's also thinking back to like when he was taught by Old Man Hiyori, I think. Damn it. Wano, damn it. Let's see, but yeah. Let's see, for what, as we get into the flashback of where Luffy's Wano mentor for the arc. Hold on. I wish I'd gotten this wiki page up when I was live streaming. Let's see, Kozuki family. No. Kazumo. Let's see, Let's see. Here's you. Yeah. Hyogoro. Sorry, just wanted to pronounce the name correctly. I should really learn all the names of Wano by now. But yeah. But how the hockey is also known as Rio here in Wano. Of Luffy commenting how the old man taught him how to punch without touching, and he's going to smash him all the way down to the bottom of hell. And you can see how big the impact is, as you can see Luffy just trying to not get blown away by the impact, while Kaido is trying to hold the fist within his mouth, or the force of the fist in his mouth. Anyway, Usopp ends up dropping Kikoku and King and all that stuff, and as they're falling into the water. And asking they're not dead yet and all that stuff. Hope they're not dead and all that stuff. Hope they're still breathing. I can see Hamlet being affected by the devil, by the water, because I think it's actually seawater. Devil fruit using all that stuff. With members of Wano Samurai saying that we believe giving words of encouragement and striking down Kaido. With Karamatsu saying that this is truly over until, Kaido's taken down, as we flash back to when the 9 scabbards escape, and here as a Lord Odin dies. With we see Orochi telling Kaido that there's only one place the samurai can go, Kuri, where they've gone to protect Momonosuke, his heir. Interesting that let's see from this chapter, Kaido didn't learn that, Odin had a son until this moment, so he decides to go take care of that. The citizens of Wano asking them to leave the rest of the Kosuki clan alone, but Kaido ends up whacking them and harming them. With Orochi comments about how anyone that fights the shogun may be shot on sight, as we see more civilians being shot. We get a report later. We see Odin's castle being burnt down, and Whitsey report about she's being confirmed dead. Whitsey in Bakuro Town, and no one else escaped from the castle. And everyone believes that the clan has been fully wiped out. I'm surprised that they didn't really hear that bit about the prophecy, but let's see Orochi's first reaction to that. Never mind. Next minute, we have Orochi and Kaido telling the daimyo to choose to join them and making Wano great in their eyes, or war. Though for daimyo, which we have like a Yashi and Urasamasu, the one that really looks a lot like Zoro. Let's see, as well as let's see, the other two that we saw from Yamato's flashback. Let's see, Fukutsu Omibashu and Uzuki Tempura. Let's see, defying them, saying it's a stupid question. As they and their followers charge at Kaido that the only shogun is Kozuki, and they're prepared to avenge Odin's death. However, Kaido's blast annihilates many of the samurai there, with Orochi just laughing about how so weak and how samurai means nothing anymore. As we see more of Kaido's attacks, with a wounded samurai holding another one, going about how if only Orochi didn't have Kaido. With another saying, pipe down, or otherwise Kaido's forces will be on them for speaking out. Next, we get the factory where people are being dragged into the factory, any man of working age, to create weapons. We see one of them being dragged away from his family, being threatened at gunpoint and all that stuff. Let's see, we see people watching the colors of the river being polluted, with a mother and baby crying how there's no drinking water. And we see a panel of the crops can't grow, and how they have nothing to eat. Let's see, with workers being slaves going back to work in the next panels and all that stuff. With the hope and despair that they have, as no one outside can help them due to how closed off the nation is. But we'll see there is a bit of hope with the word of Toki's, trusting Lady Toki's words. Let's see, and then Orochi, with Orochi telling mocking, the people of, a town outside of Wano, out the capital, eating the scraps of the smile fruit. Isabu town and all that stuff. Orochi mocking about how spite miserable, look at how happy all they are, which is just a twisted sense of, Orochi's own evil. as he thinks how that's how they deserve. But then we cut to Orochi burning with her and declaring that Saki that he'll drag her down with her and all that stuff, and he'll never escape the wrath of Kozumi. And they share a drink in the afterlife. But the voice says Beldam has arrived, and I'm curious what that word actually means. Beldam. Meaning. Okay. An old woman. Okay, that seems. Okay, a malicious or loathsome old woman. Okay. That actually might be Orochi saying that, but let's see if it's aimed at Kurosaki. But anyway, a blade's being drawn. Orochi notices, and he gets his head cut off by Denjiro, who has come to Hiyori. As we cut to like one of the citizens flying lanterns, wishing that Orochi would go away, not realizing just right now that Denjiro has just fulfilled that dream. As the head lies dying and all that stuff, Kumasaki hugging Denjiro. The citizens flying more lanterns, with the main one being like, please free us from this hell. Another saying, I want to drink clean water. And another saying, wish daddy. And another food in the background. As the hockey between Luffy's fist and Kaido's flames clash, ending the chapter. Okay, first of all, I'm gonna admit, it's getting a little tired of the repeating of Kumasaki going like, Momonosuke going like, I can't, but I do like how quick it went with like the bit of the family bit with the bit we'll build the family and all that stuff. But yeah. I do like how Kaido decides, like, one that has the similar cockiness of every villain. Like, okay, I'll take your final attack. I can take it head on and all that stuff. And decides to burn Luffy in a similar, and decides to compare Luffy to Odin in this moment, and says that he'll meet and tries to make him grasp the same fate by burning and all that stuff, but instead of a boiling pot. Kaido goes into a flame dragon torch mode, which I suppose is supposed to be perhaps the most powerful form that his full dragon transformation has, rather than his hybrid form. But I guess, let's see. I suppose some people are expecting the hybrid form to be the last fight bit with the series, kind of like how Lucci was with Luffy. But I assume that the reason why Odin is doing this is because the whole hero or knight, if you will, usually in Western thing, or just general hero adventure, if you will, ends up fighting to slay a dragon, and it's probably more fitting that Kaido ends up being in a full-on dragon rather than his hybrid form, as they have Luffy then slaying the dragon in that form and all that stuff. But I'm getting ahead of myself. We still have yet to see that defeat. But anyway, I do like the dragon flame mode, though I am a little curious because I can't tell if the dragon flame thing has just increased inside, because on top of Kaido's head there's a mini Shillera mini version of his own head. So I'm wondering if the flame has just made the flame torch mode has just made his body bigger, or is that just some crown bit on his head? I am curious about that. So I can't tell if the dragon bit has gotten much bigger and all that stuff, but anyway, I just got cut from the. But yeah, actually, it has from the looks of things, because from what I'm seeing from this perspective, from the first chat page and where we see Kaido behind Omegashima, he's smaller, but when he gets into that flame mode, it seems like he's become a lot bigger, and he's melted one of the horns and all that stuff. So that's how powerful his flames are, and that Luffy can no longer hold him. But Kaido's just so confident in this flame mode that he's not going to get out of Luffy's way, and he's going to take his attack head on and blast it with his own ability. With Luffy's final attack being called Bajingan, while Kaido's is the flame Bagu and all that stuff. So it's like, I guess you could say it's like your Rasengan Chidori sort of clash thing. but this time, but with like I get it sort of situation. Both characters using the most powerful attacks and of equal measure. Well, I do like how we get Luffy commenting about how, let's see, the training he got from, let's see, the Yakuza head. Let's see, Hyagio, sorry, about how Luffy can, let's see, harm someone without touching, and this is what Luffy's trying to do. All that stuff. Anyway, the bit about Usopp and let's see, Kin and let's see, and Kuki. Honestly, with him being scared that he's dropped them, hope they're not dead. I think at this point they're not gonna die. I mean, let's see, and from what I can tell from some spoilers I've seen, that seems to be the case. Despite all the time Oda has teased them, no, despite what he says, he's never gonna kill off these characters. So, on one hand, that is a bit disappointing in its sense of a war perspective, but it is what it is, I guess. It is One Piece, as we know, One Piece rarely kills off characters. Let's see, even though in Wano there have been some that have died, such as Yashi, but heck. And even a bit earlier, we had Doflamingo with Virgo and let's see, Monette, I believe. Yeah, the Ice Harpy. They died earlier back in Dressrosa Saga, though I'm not sure if this is the same saga, really. But yeah. Either way, let's see. It's just a more of an upstate on what's happening with those two. But yeah, I don't see them dying. Anyway, we got the standard samurai cheering. Nothing to talk much there. The only thing we do get interesting is seeing the flashback of all the events of the samurai escaping from, like, let's see, the Beast Pirates, Orochi and the Beast Pirates perspective, such as them running and all that stuff. And we learn how Kaido ended up going to, like, Odin's capital because Orochi informed them that they must be going there to protect Odin's son. I found it interesting that Kaido did not know that Odin had a son at that point, even though that was kind of the thing that, that was what caused Odin to let his guard down in their fight. He probably should have realized that, but no, that might just be the translation and the viz just being just made a mistake in there, but either way, he decides to go take care of her, and that explains why he's out in the castle and how he eventually gets disappointed when he finally meets Momosuke. But anyway, let's see. But to see the cruelty of the Beast Pirates, I do like how we try to see people trying to plead, please, no more death to the Kozuki clan. But they all get, hit by Kaido and shot by Beast Pirates, or just Orochi mocking them and all that stuff. A confirmation that, we see the confirmation that they believe that the Kozuki clan has been wiped out, given how only Odin's wife, came out of the castle. We see the brief moment where Orochi had the daimyo make their choice of things, of serving him or dying and all that stuff. I like how it's like, how they charge, but we see just how quickly Kaido just wipes them out. And Orochi just mocking the samurai for their inability to face Kaido. And even seeing someone like just shows just how for 20 years people had no hope of taking down Orochi just because Kaido was there. Just from this display of force. And we end up, it's interesting how we get a bit of a montage about, the damage that Orochi and Kaido's reign over Wano has done, where families have been taken to work in the family, fathers separated from their wives and children, while they cannot drink or eat any healthy crops and all that stuff. As Oda's made a huge point about how the tyrant reign of Orochi and Kaido has Whitsey caused great famine in Wano and all that stuff, as Odin'S put a huge emphasis on that in Wano and the theme about here. And let's see. And just to see more just how cruel of Orochi, we got a reminder about how he forces the people of Izutown to eat the small fruits, taking away their chance to grieve for all their losses, and just how much he despises them and all that stuff. But in many ways, it's just probably fitting that the next bit is just focusing on Orochi a bit, as he's burning from the flames from his own minions, from Kanjuro's own flame creature. Well, granted, I'm pretty certain that means that Kanjuro was probably did die from the wounds from at least probably did die from the wounds of Kin. It just took a while a bit, but it seems like Orochi I find it interesting that Orochi realizes that he probably is not going to make it out alive now. Decides to take out Kurosaki with him. The wrath of his family, as he shall take her to the afterlife. It's like, if I'm going down, I'll take Whitsey, the daughter of Odin, with him, if you will. But we finally get that justice that has been teased so many times after having his head cut off on two separate occasions. First, his human head against Kaido for the double crossing. Then the 9 scabbards cutting his remaining heads. And one of those scabbards, Denjiro, cutting off Orochi's head after being absent from, at least from what I can recall, 30 or plus so chapters. Finally killing Orochi, I assume, because the final head has been cut off. Granted, there's always some reasons to be skeptical, because One Piece, for we know, Orochi might get his own cover story pages down the line later, but for the time being, the head's finally cut off, and assume that this is the final time, and he's dead. And it seems and I do find very fitting how we get the lanterns from them wishing that Orochi go away, of all those people, all from citizens of Wano, and of all the other things that wish to happen that we've just seen from the flashback that have just been taken away from Wano during Orochi's reign and all that stuff. Fathers being taken away, clean water, food, about how this place feels like hell and all that stuff. As Kurosaki and Denjiro embrace, and this is probably what Denjiro was trying to do, find Kurosaki, as he probably realized she was here and all that stuff. As I do like how we get the last clash of King Haki between Luffy and Kaido, as I combined with that final attacks ending the chapter, so that's good. Overall, I think I'd give this chapter an 8 out of 10. I feel like some bits will feel a bit repeated and necessary with the Momosuke and the Usopp with Kiku part, but other than that, I like how this chapter emphasizes, instead of just a full-on fight bit between Luffy and Kaido, you get a flashback to what impact the reign of Orochi and Kaido has, and why Luffy is fighting to take him down. And also building up to the bit when Denjiro finally cuts off the final head of Orochi, and hopefully killing him, but who knows? Ending the chapter, I think it was great, but as we probably know, for those who have probably read 1049, we've certainly seen the result of Luffy versus Kaido, but I'll try and review that later. Overall, I'm Blue Star Saber, signing off. Thank you for joining me, and goodbye.